What's up, guys? Your girl Luca here, back with another video, and today I will be discussing Hellblade 2, which has been confirmed to run at 30 FPS on Xbox. There will be no performance mode available, and we're going to discuss whether or not this is a problem, whether or not I think it's a problem, and some of the people's reactions to this, because though I did not spend too much time on Twitter today because I didn't get the opportunity, I did happen to catch a couple of tweets. And I think some people are not very happy about this. And I think it's very unfortunate. I think it's very unfortunate that this continues to be a conversation when it comes to these consoles, mostly because after some time, it's just kind of like you guys keep speaking on this 60 FPS experience, and yet it is not a standard. And we're going to go back to that word standard in a moment, but let's go through this. So, we have a month and a half until Hellblade 2 comes out, and the game will be locked at 30 FPS. The VFX director confirmed it, and I do think it's good that they came out and let us know this ahead of the time. I think that's great. But it's locked to 30 FPS with dynamic resolution. There's no additional graphic options. And the PC version is not locked to this feature, obviously, and increased FPS can only be achieved on that specific platform, of course. So, now when I saw this earlier, me personally, I was like, okay, another 30 FPS game, cool. I don't have any plans, nor did I have any plans on playing Hellblade 2, mostly because Hellblade 1, the voices, man, it sounds silly, but it actually did get to me, so I had to stop playing. But, you know, I didn't have any interest in this game, therefore, me personally, I'm not upset about the 30 FPS news because I'm not interested in the game. Now, if this was a game I was interested in, I would be annoyed. I would be perturbed. I would be slightly bothered that once again we are getting another 30 FPS game on a system that is fully capable of running games at 60 FPS, though. Again, it's not really a mandate. It's not really a standard, is it? It is a choice. It is a it's a developer choice. And we're always talking about how we should let the developers do what they want. Yeah, we should, you know, we are always talking about that, aren't we? But anyway, last game, I believe, from Xbox that was announced to be 30 FPS, eventually getting a 60 FPS mode, was Redfall. And Redfall had some other issues going on. You know, the 30 FPS was the least of Redfall's issues, honestly speaking. And let's get into that a little bit. I genuinely believe that if a game is good enough, the frame rate, people are willing to overlook the frame rate. They may not be happy about it, but they'll be able to play the game because they love the game, they love the franchise. They're willing to step aside, or they're willing to make that sacrifice because the game is something that they actually want to play, something that they love, right? Take me, for instance. I will be replaying Fire Emblem Three Houses again for funsies. I'm just going to do it, you know. I'll be playing that on Switch. I have a Switch Lite, right? Or whatever it's called. I have no idea what the small version is called, right? But I will be playing that. And that game is, I believe it's at 30 FPS, right? And there are other titles that I'm struggling to name right now that I would 100% play at 30 FPS. If we're not going to, but if we were to ever get a Bloodborne 2, I would play it at 30 FPS, okay? If I had to, I would do it. If I had to, I would do it because it's a game that I personally am interested in and I want to play. You know what I'm saying? Now, Hellblade 2 is going to be running on Unreal Engine 5. I believe that I think the developers have been having a lot of fun with the engine, but also struggling in some ways as well. I do think the game looks absolutely phenomenal. You can tell that their passion was on the visuals. That was the main focus, especially on the realism. That was the developer's main focus. That was their passion, right? That being said, getting back to the actual 60 FPS conversation, is for this particular game, is this an issue for me? Again, no. But I do not fault anyone for feeling upset about it. I don't fault anyone for being annoyed about it and bothered about it if they really want to play this game and at least have the option, because options are amazing, right? Options are great. And we have gotten several titles in which there is an option between performance and fidelity mode, right? Like we've gotten several titles like that. So I understand the people who actually want to play this game and are annoyed by it, who are bothered by it. I definitely get it, right? Definitely. And I do not fault them for that. At the same time, at this point, like, it's I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like, I can't even I'm not shocked. Like, I'm just not shocked. I'm not surprised. I feel like this is so interesting because again, it just comes down to it's like, I silly me from the Xbox One X on. I was like, okay, maybe this console will be the one where I'll get my 60 FPS on every single game, right? And that's just not reality, you know, and I've come to that riveting realization. It's just not reality, and that's just something that I personally have just got to accept, you know? And I just, I hold on, let me look. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So, Gaz, a shout out to Gaz, says the world's most powerful console, and he got he got several responses under this. People offering their perspective on it, being like, "It's Gaz, that was 4 years ago, man. You got to let it go." Essentially, we need a new world's most powerful hardware. And then I can already tell that this comment may be coming off as a little bit more facetious, condescending, if you will, saying, if you thought this level of visual fidelity would, shut up. All right, shut up. Okay. Like, I can't stand people who are condescending about it. It's so annoying. Anyway, moving on from that, right? Oh, another person, yeah, it's always like this, right? Where it's like, if you thought that this was gonna happen, then I'm just like, ugh, why can't we have the conversation without you being condescending about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we have that conversation? I feel like it is completely possible to not be rude while having this conversation, while talking about this subject. Again, I don't blame people for being bothered by it, but it is what it is, you know? Now, if this was something that I wanted to play, would I play it on PC? Yeah, because I have that option to play it on PC. I just play it on PC. And it's nice that I'm able to have that option. That's what makes Xbox, you know, their day one on PC. That's what makes it great. It's being given the opportunity to play games on whatever piece of hardware that you want to play, you know. Now I know Aaron Greenberg, Mr. Greeny himself, he had a back when the console first launched, he see here. He had this to say. He said 60 FPS will be the standard output, but the architecture allows us to support up to 120 FPS. Tom Warren makes a comment on that, saying Xbox Series X games will not run at 60 FPS standard output. Microsoft tells me ultimately it is up to the individual developers to determine how they leverage the power and speed of the Xbox Series X. Aaron Greenberg continued with additional clarification, saying developers will always have flexibility in how they use the power, so a standard or common FPS, a 60 FPS is not a mandate. Now, here's the thing. I hate to bring up dictionary.com, but I personally think that him using the word standard was perhaps not the best usage, you know? A standard essentially just means the level of quality or attainment, or an idea or thing used as a measure, the norm, or a model in comparative evaluation. So I don't think that standard was the right word choice for this, because it's not a standard if it's not mandated. Like, if they can pick and choose, then it. But then again, perhaps standard is a good choice, right? Because I feel like most games, do give you the option for 60 FPS or unlocked frame rate or a visual mode. So perhaps standard is fine because it is the norm to be given an option at this point, and then we just have a couple of outliers. The ones I can think of, Gotham Knights, right? Redfall, um, Hellblade, right? So, but I feel like most games you have an option. I think Dragon's Dogma also was at 30 FPS or an uncapped frame rate, one or the other, right? So at this point, guys, I think that if you want if you want high frame rates all the time, you're gonna have to consider switching over to PC. I do not think that these consoles are going to give you what you want all the time, you know? And that's this it consoles are great for their simplicity, but the downside is that you don't have the freedom or ability to adjust things like you want to or fiddle with the controls and the settings like you would like to and to the same capacity as PC gives you. So, again, I've not seen too many comments, but me not seeing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that I've not gone through all of the comments from today and how people feel about it. I do from very briefly from what I've seen, I do people are very angry about this, and I understand why, but, you know, the game looks very beautiful, though, and again, I think that if you are someone who is genuinely looking forward to this game and you only have an Xbox, but I do think that, people who wanna play this game are gonna play it, and they're going to it may take a moment for their eyes to adjust, but they're going to enjoy themselves and enjoy the experience. It's a shorter experience, so, you won't be, feeling like your eyes are being burned, being stabbed for more than a couple of hours, so it's all good, you know what I'm saying? Your eyes will adjust, it'll be fine. So the people who genuinely wanna play this, who are able to look past it, all good, right? For others who were going to play this or wanted to play this and still want to play it but are disappointed by the no option, I understand. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with being disappointed. I think it's completely understandable, and I do think that your feelings are valid. I just wish that I was gonna say something ridiculous. Like, I wish we could just have these conversations without it being a fight, but that's absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I don't even know why I even said that. Like, but I already know. Man, I know what it is. So those are my thoughts on the matter. I'm very curious to hear everyone else's thoughts on the matter. And I think, what am I going to title this? I'm going to be like, is this actually a problem? Clickbait? I'm not sure. All right, guys, I'll catch you for another one. Peace.